It's so weird seeing Kal Penn with a gray beard and gray and playing like a older dude. I still think of him as Kumar.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, dude, the trailer for that, my God, it couldn't be done today like it was done. Because it's like totally the Asian guy in American Pie and the Indian guy in Van Wilder. Like, holy fuck. That trailer could not exist today.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening. But are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for Bald Guys and Bad Movies.
Welcome to episode 33 of Bald Guys and Bad Movies. I am Troy, one of your hosts, here with my other host, my buddy,
Mike
Stella. How's it going, my friend?
I am doing great. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I miss you, man. I
miss you too, man.
It's not the same, not being able to chat with you during the week. I mean, we could chat, but our chats during the week were work-related with bullshit, tangential, adjacent conversations. Thanksgiving, dude. You gearing up for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a brisket. Not sure, though. We'll see how it turns out.
A festive brisket. Are you going to do a special way of cooking it or just the typical?
No. I'll just do my typical smoked brisket, you know? You ever had frog legs?
I'm pretty sure I have.
If you skin the frog legs before you cook them, right, when they're raw, if you sprinkle salt on them, the sodium in the salt causes the muscles in the frog legs to fire, and they start moving.
Even after they're long dead?
Long dead, yeah.
I feel like I've seen that with like a dead chicken, like on some video.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
You know
like, you see,
about?
like, the muscles kind of, like, contracting and stuff.
Yeah, was she at, like, a restaurant and the chicken or something was still moving? I
don't remember, to tell you the truth.
All right. Well, I bet she didn't have a smile when that happened, Mike. What do you think? Segue. Clunky. What are we reviewing this week, Mike, if my clue wasn't cluey enough?
This week, we are reviewing the hit, like the runaway hit that is Smile.
Runaway. It is budget $17 million, $210.5 million. It's made.
Does not deserve a penny of that.
Really? Oh, this will be good then. Okay. Smile is a 2022 American psychological horror film written and directed by Parker Finn and his feature directorial debut based on his 2020 short film, Laura Hasn't Slept, which I immediately watched after I saw the film. It stars Sosie Bacon, Sosie Mole Bacon, as she was known in college, as a therapist who, after witnessing the bizarre suicide of a patient, goes through increasingly disturbing and daunting experiences.
Took me a second.
Leading her to believe what she is experiencing is supernatural. Would you recommend Smile?
Would I recommend Smile? I mean, look, if you like horror films, yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's just every other, it's just a regurgitated every other horror film from, you know, the late 2000s on. The Ring, The Grudge, like all these other ones where just like it just passes from person to person. You know what I mean? Like once you see it, you're going to die a week later. You know what I mean? It's like
it's got shades of It Follows, The Ring especially.
I don't know. It just felt derivative. I was kind of tired when I watched it, but my wife didn't like it very much either. She thought it was kind of dumb. I think she might have liked it a little bit more than me, but I'll give it its due though. There was I think a jump scare or two that got me, you know what I mean? But as a film, I just thought it was kind of boring. I like the cop, the ex-boyfriend cop guy. When I first saw him, he seemed kind of like, I don't know, he didn't seem like that great of an actor. But as the movie progressed, I felt like this guy's actually pretty good. Like I actually kind of enjoyed his.
Was he the American Pie
performance.
dude? He looked like the American Pie nerd. I've seen him somewhere.
Definitely not him.
Okay. You know what I'm talking
Definitely
about,
not.
right?
I know exactly. The one who fucked Stifler's mom.
Yes. The one that had the shits, had the bowel problem. That's like the funniest scene I remember from American Pie. Well, I thought this film was great.
No way. Really?
Yes. I thought everything you said is true. Derivative, the whole 4 days you'll die. But I thought the execution, the direction, the patience this guy had, what's his name? Parker Finn. He's someone to keep an eye on.
I was just bored.
But I can see how someone could get bored because it did take its time, right? And it allowed dread, and I wasn't even frightened, right? Again, it's like with me in horror films, I can appreciate technique and see that this is really good, right? This is a filmmaker that's confident in how he's going to direct this. And I felt like there really wasn't a lot of jump scares. I feel like he didn't.
There was only like 2 or something.
He didn't go for like the cheap jump scares. It was a lot of, long shots.
Well, I like the fact that he had long shots that led into jump scares. That's one thing I thought was kind of cool. Like, that it didn't hide. It wasn't like, you turn around and there's something there. That was the first one, I think, that did that, and it scared me a little bit. But then the next one where like her sister's walking out to the car and then her like head drops in front of the window.
Which they ruined in the fucking trailer. Which sucked.
Did they?
Oh yeah, like.
Oh, I don't think I really paid attention to the trailer.
I watched it with my kids. It was really fun watching it with them because they were both like Chloe had her comfort kitty, like this little stuffed thing, and
Sure.
And my son, I know when he's a little bit nervous because he just talks. He just starts talking, and I think he wants to. I think at one point he said, "I'm gonna Kratos my way through this moment." Like, okay, just be quiet while you do it, dude. But we were
Kratos. What does that mean?
That he's playing God of War, so
right.
He's walking around, boy. So just brute force, just be brave and stoic. But they were both like, "Oh God, is this the scene where the head's gonna flop to her?"
Oh right,
yeah, in front of the window because they saw that. Well, they saw the trailer when we went to see Nope, and they were like, "Oh, this looks dumb," but that part's scary. The trailer, I thought I was gonna hate this movie. I was prepared to hate it.
That's probably why you liked it so much, Troy.
What? No, it's not even that. I don't go.
You don't think your low expectations led to you liking it a little bit more than
my expectations weren't that low. When I first saw the trailer, I thought this looks stupid. This because it's just smile. Those moments are few and far between. It's not like
they are.
So
it's not all over the place.
And again, like he doesn't overdo it. And then when I saw it was doing this much box office, that's not to say a film that earns a lot of money can't still be a piece of shit. Obviously, that can be true. But for horror to catch on like that, so there's word of mouth going on, right? And there's, after the first weekend and it's still making money, it starts making more money, then he's touched the pulse of something. So I went in expecting, okay, this must be kind of good. I paused this in the middle of the movie, and I looked at my kids and said, this is what Grim Cuddy should have been. This movie does exactly what I wanted Grim Cuddy to do. It's very psychological. You don't know what's real, what's unreal, right? Everyone thinks this girl is crazy. Again, yeah, the plots are different, but the similarities in terms of making it a psychological expose.
As opposed to making it very grounded in this is what's happening.
Yeah, there is definitely a monster, and it is definitely, and it's not to say I didn't believe the Smile monster wasn't real, but the director did a really good job of scenes happening, and you're like, wait, is this real? Right. And playing with your own, so you're in the mind of the protagonist. You're in the mind of this poor psychiatrist.
That I thought was pretty good.
And you don't really know what the fuck is real, what is unreal. So long story short, I recommend it. Even though it is derivative of The Ring, but he holds back, and he also pays off really well. It didn't always stay psychological. There were some definite visceral moments, and especially at the end, a very horrific imagery. Not to give it away at this early juncture, but I guess we can start getting into spoilers.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So, let's talk about the mole.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, I just gotta get it out of the way. When that girl cut her...
Seriously.
By the way, the first victim, when she cut her face, slowly cut her face in front of the psychiatrist, and I thought she was going to make a smile, but no, she took it straight through her neck and around. That was fucking brutal. And I'm thinking, man, that demon should make her cut that mole off. Just like, all I could see was mole.
Jesus
It is Austin
Christ.
Powers' fault. That's all I could think is that scene. Oh boy, that was a tremendous mole. Okay, that aside, the actresses did a really good job. Like, what a fucking hard job.
She was pretty good. I was just bored, man. Like, I was just bored for like the first half, you know? I tell you the truth, I felt like they could have built the same amount of dread and just chopped out 20 minutes of fat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was 20 minutes they could have lost.
That's fair enough. And one thing I said to my kids, I was like, I don't know if it's a film I want to watch again, because once you get to the end, once the story's complete, when you look back on it, there was a lot of false blind alleys, red herrings. There wasn't a lot of demon activity. I mean, it was more or less her, and it felt very much like The Ring that way. It was her trying to figure out first if she's going nuts, and then figuring out what this thing is, with little moments of, supernatural horror peppered in. And The Ring was very much like that. When I saw The Ring, as I was watching it, I was kind of like you. It's like, Jesus Christ. They've been talking about this ring girl for most of the movie, and I don't think we even really saw her until the very end. But that's what makes that moment so powerful. When she does fucking climb out of TV, you shit your pants. Like, fuck, I didn't see that coming. This was very similar, although I did feel like it was more of a payoff. I felt less, because The Ring really, other than very subtle things like a fly coming off the screen or whatever, it was very slow. Very slow. Whereas this, I do think I remember
The Ring being pretty slow. But... okay, since we're talking about this, I was going to wait to bring it up as we got later into the movie, but since we're talking about this, I don't know. I felt like that monster just came out of left field. Like, I was not expecting there to be a big giant monster, like, fight battle at the end of the fucking movie. I was expecting it to, since it had been, I felt like The Ring with the chick coming out of the screen made fucking sense. Like, you're seeing this video and you're seeing this thing happen, and then she starts to emerge from the screen. Well, she's present.
Like, you'll see like a little hand come out and...
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they're leading up to that payoff. So when it happens in that way, you're not like... I mean, I was still surprised. I didn't expect it to happen the way that it did. But when her, like, vision of her dead mom, like, turns into the monster, I was just like, what the fuck is happening now? Like, why are we even... Like, why is this happening? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Because it's a demon. The demon's finally revealed itself.
I get it, but
I think I thought of Hereditary.
It just seemed left
because,
field to me.
And I thought about our review.
Hereditary felt left field to me as well.
Yes, and I swear to you, thinking ahead of this review, I was wondering if you would have that reaction, because Hereditary kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like build up, build up, build up, build up, and then shit goes crazy with like, you know, sawing your own head off, headless bodies floating or whatever. But I like that. I felt like that's the reward for the slow dread, the slow build up of. I personally would have been disappointed if you never saw anything, right? Like it was just, you kept it so subtle and psychological that, was it really in her head? Was it real?
Well,
I mean, you could have done that, and
well, not even like that. I don't mind I wouldn't have minded if it was a payoff, but I guess my biggest issue was that the monster didn't really remind me enough of the Smiles, that like it didn't really, I don't know, it just didn't really.
I will say this.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like that monster fit this movie. Like, you know what I mean? It seemed like a monster from a whole different movie. If you're gonna have a demon, like, have the demon come out and have it have like a big, giant, crazy, demonic smile.
I will.
You know what I mean?
Totally
like,
agree with you on that, because
I just felt the design was off.
you
know what I mean?
Remember when she went to the lady's house whose husband killed himself or whatever? He drew the Smile monster.
Exactly.
And I
have it resemble one of those.
Thought that was set up. When we do see it, if we see it, it's going to look like that. It's going to be just Cheshire Cat with fucking sharp teeth. Yeah, I will agree. I will give you that. The design, it wasn't the size, it was the face.
Yeah.
Like I thought with the movie being called Smile and the whole thing, and it would make sense that they would smile like idiots once it possesses them, because maybe its whole face is a smile.
Right, exactly.
Right,
and also, like, why were people pulling off their fucking faces throughout the movie? Like, it just seemed weird. That seemed off to me too. Like Kal Penn, like he's like and like pulls his face off.
That was only one time.
Like, but then the demon pulled their face off too. Maybe
end,
that's what it was. Yeah, like maybe that's what it was alluding to. I don't know. It all just seemed kind of like,
that was in one of the paintings the guy did too.
The face was off.
So in that case, it was foreshadowing what was going to come. But then you're right. I was expecting a really horrendous smile demon. I wasn't even expecting that. I didn't even know if he was going to show it or not. And I would have been okay if he didn't. But I appreciate the fact that he did. But yeah, it was kind of weird. It felt. Did you ever see the Blair Witch remake? It was just called Blair Witch. They actually showed the Blair Witch, and she looked very close to what they had in this movie. This big, gangly, long-legged thing. I also thought about It, Chapter 2. Then the granny, in that granny scene, did she become like a long, like a... So I will concede that. I thought the monster design was disappointing.
And that's the whole thing. Maybe I wouldn't have felt like it was so out of left field if the monster fit more to what I kind of felt it should have looked like.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
But tell you the truth, and that's the whole thing. I was tired going into it. But, anytime I put on a horror film and I hit the button to see how long it is, and it's over like an hour and 35 minutes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, this one was hour and 55 or something, I think.
It's got to be a really good movie to be longer than an hour and a half, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, horror films should be short. That way you can get in and get out, and,
Well, not necessarily, though. It depends,
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm saying a lot, like... For the most part, it has to be a really good one if you're going to take more time, in my opinion.
Right.
And I didn't feel like this movie was good enough to warrant it.
I thought the opposite. I thought for what he was going for, you needed that time. Could he have cut out 15 minutes? Probably, absolutely. And would have been as effective? Probably, maybe. But I didn't feel like anything was like, oh, okay, get on with it. Because it was so competent.
I definitely did.
Well, you did. I felt like this guy had such a clear vision and was so restrained. In your opinion, too restrained. Fucking, I'm going to sleep. But that was the type of experience that he set the tone from the beginning, right? And I really liked the music. The music was really fucking good.
The music was good. What do you think about that title, though? The title sequence. It was horrible, right? I was like, what the fuck are we watching? I was like, when that came on, I was like, okay, what are we about to watch?
Malignant did the same thing. Even though Malignant, though, it was total, like, out there camp. Right. So it kind of made sense, even though I was like, can you be a little bit more eerie and sinister still, right? Before, that was what I'm saying, don't give it away. Where this film was like, the Smile title was like, but the rest of the film was completely different in tone. Like it was very
really weird,
quiet and somber. And
what I will say though was there was one scene at the birthday party, like not the cat. The cat thing was pretty good, but I thought that was pretty fucking funny. But the thing that there was when they're singing Happy Birthday and they get to like almost towards the end, and then like one of the notes that they sing like sustains.
Oh,
and
that was
don't
great.
Hear the rest of the song. I was like, oh shit, that was fucking good. That was probably one of my favorite things from the whole movie.
There was real technique on display. Now, forget about the fact that it was too long or whatever.
Sure.
This is
and I will give it that. I will definitely give
Parker
it that.
Finn, hopefully he isn't a one-trick pony, but there's some real technique that this guy, I'm going to call it, can potentially give us something really amazing.
Sure. No, I could see that. There was some, I definitely think that there was some really good stuff in there.
My kids and I, we had a debate mid-movie. I had to pause the movie because my son, who's, teenager and thinks he knows everything. Well, he's got it all figured out.
Don't they all?
Because I'm like, her fiance, the black dude, I feel like he jumped to, bitch, you crazy, and your mama crazy too.
Yeah, like that.
Thank
dude.
you.
Like
and I was
that,
and I was like, and her ex had the reaction that someone who actually loved her would have, and I was trying to explain to them because she said it right. Oh, you like it when everything's fine, but when everything's not fine, that's basically the writer saying this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? And he did.
So what'd your son say? I gotta hear what
No, fuck that. Well, he didn't say fuck that. But it's like, no way. If I'm with someone and they kill my cat, that's it. I'm out of there. I said, but dude, if you love someone, if you love them, there's gonna be,
and they're telling you that they didn't kill the cat.
Right. But there's gonna be issues throughout. Let's say they did kill the cat and they're having a mental episode. You don't just switch love off that like that, man.
Yeah, you don't care about him that much.
I was like, dude, you know more about football than me. I can't tell you about what it's like to be on the field and get hit and win and lose. You've never had a girlfriend, dude. You've never been in love. I'm a 47-year-old man, and I can tell you.
You didn't say that shit, though.
No, I did.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. What did he say to that?
He was like, blah, blah, blah.
Damn. You straight called him out. You never had a girlfriend.
Well, but it's true.
That fucking Troy.
And she kills the cat, dude, I'm done with her. I'm done. Because she's crazy. She kills the cat. She killed something. She killed my cat. Like, you're going to love her. This is the bravado of a young man who thinks he's got the world figured out.
Jesus Christ.
But anyway. Well, this is the fun I have when I watch these movies with my kids. Because
that is fucking funny. I am not looking forward to that shit. Noah already thinks he fucking knows everything.
Oh, boy. Just get ready.
I'm not looking forward to it at all, dude.
Fucking get ready, dude.
Not at all.
But yeah, fiance guy was
a prick.
And then the very next scene, or the scene after the birthday,
that was A-Train. That was A-Train.
I know.
From The Boys. I was like, who is this? And Andrea's like, he's from The Boys. I was like, oh shit.
Maybe that's why he's so fast to be done with her. He's A-Train.
Did you ever see Deadwood?
The series? Yeah.
The series?
Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize the...
oh, yeah.
Calamity
Jane.
She looked a lot better in this show.
Seersucker. cocksucker. Wait, did she have a favorite curse word?
What was?
But she would say like
was-
seersucker, or some kind of weird old timey.
Andrea and I were both trying to figure it out. Like, what was her catchphrase that she would always yell?
She was great as Calamity Jane.
She really was. She looked pretty good in this show until she started smiling.
Oh, her smile's fucking weird.
Scary,
as shit.
dude.
Yeah. So I thought Fiance Guy was a little quick on the draw.
Completely agree with you on the fiance. I was like, damn, he was just like, fuck it, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And then he gets all mad at her when she's like, fuck this, I'm not fucking, you know what I mean? Gets mad at him. He's like, what? You're leaving? I'm like, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here.
And that same scene, because it was when, you know, they had that argument in the car. And because we had paused right before he went in the house. Then he went in the house. I'm like, oh, look. He's so over, he's going to go sleep in the house with the crazy person. The person he thinks is nuts now. How logical is he? How logical is that? I would say I'm not going to say it's a flaw. Maybe it is a flaw. I felt like there was a more natural way to make him a prick without it being so abrupt. It just felt like, whoa.
It was like flipping a switch, man. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Because what you would do, even if you're a dickhead, you're engaged to her. You're going to be married to her. So you're thinking everything he just said in the car, but he's not saying it yet. There needed one more scene
and that's a little bit better writing.
Right.
Is not to, you don't say what you mean, you say what you think will get you what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because that's what people do. People never say what the fuck they mean. You know what I mean? People half the time don't know what the hell
Logan, are you listening to this? Here's another grown-ass man telling you how it is. Keep going.
Well, I mean, look, it's just a matter of, look, you're right. He's young. He's a young kid. He does not understand relationships. You know what I mean? Like, if you care about someone enough, or even if you care about someone like half as much as you should, you know what I mean?
Let's keep it keep it 100. He ain't had a girl lay that thing on him. When that shit happens, all logic goes out the window.
She could kill his cat and fucking drink its blood.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
feed it to him on a Kaiser roll. He'd be like, I love you, baby. That's the best damn sandwich I ever had. You got another one? I want extra fur this time.
Yeah, exactly. Extra fur is the problem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had to laugh. In the back of my mind, laugh. You little whippersnapper. You have no idea
Yeah.
what's ahead of you.
You're
in
like,
life.
you say things like, you say this, and I'm like, oh yeah, you are just a child. Like, you might be, you know, like bigger than me, but you are still a child.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, did you fall asleep during this movie? Because I know sometimes you fall asleep.
I did not. I think like it was close towards the beginning, but then I kind of perked up a little bit. Like I don't know why, but I was able to stay up.
Let's do this. What was the worst part, and what was the best part?
I didn't like the monster at the end.
Okay.
I thought that came out of left field for me. I felt like just the entire first 40 minutes was slow, and I was just like, you know, it was punctuated by a few pretty good points, but I felt like you could, half those scenes you could have truncated by at least a third. And you know what I mean? He liked to do these really long takes, and I felt like they weren't all that needed. I felt like he could do a good enough job building the tension and that you know, irksome feeling, and not have such long shots.
Did you have a favorite part or thing? You could
Seeing
say?
her burn in the ex-boyfriend's eyes, the reflection, I thought that was fucking priceless. I thought it was so nice.
Explain to the listeners what happened in the finale.
At the finale, she fights with the monster. She kills lights the monster on fire, burns down her old house where her mother committed suicide. Oh yeah, that was fucked up. I was
She
like,
let-
dude,
she
when
Walter
that
Whited
she
her.
well, no, that she wait, what?
She Walter Whited her. She let her mother was like, call 911. She was like, nope. Remember
Oh, right.
with
Yeah.
Jesse's girlfriend? Walter could have saved her, but it's not really murder because she's already choking.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Dude, and that was my whole thing. Like, Andrea at one point said, like, well, that's not really, she was just scared. And I was like, yeah, but she's like shook her head. Like, she
No,
gave
that
a
was-
direct answer to her. She was like, call 911, help me. She was like,
Yeah.
and turned around and left the fucking room. Like, nah, dude. Like, she might, yes, she is scared in the situation. But I think it was very telling when afterwards you hear her say to her mom's ghost in her head, you know, you were a monster. You know what I mean? Like, I did this because you terrified me. And so she had full knowledge of what she was doing when she did it. And then she was just, you know, guilty of it she felt guilty of it for the next 30 years of her life or 20 years of her life, whatever it was.
I'm glad you brought that up. I know we were talking about the ending, but before I forget, that's like one of my favorite parts of this movie.
And I like that part. I like that part a lot.
Some parts the writing could have been better, like with the fiance, but I like he approached this from the character felt very real. She was very flawed, and I thought it was a really nice move to tie suicide and her allowing her mother to die, right?
Yeah.
But the whole notion of someone killing themselves in front of someone else and trauma, and she herself is traumatized. She's been living with this trauma. Like, I felt the themes were very nicely layered, meshed together with the overall concept of the film.
I would agree. Look, and I'll tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if the monster fit a little bit more, you know what I mean, and the monster just felt too corporeal. It just felt too like grounded in reality, just a little stretched out. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I wanted to see like a demon, you know what I mean? Like with a demon smile face, you know, no eyes, no nose, no ears, just a head.
Maybe like how I drew him, that charcoal, just squiggly darkness with red gums and teeth coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Once the monster came out, it didn't say a word because it even talked to her as the monster. And I felt like once the monster transitioned from her mom to the monster, I wanted it to just be, I feel like it should just be demon. And I didn't even want it to talk at that point. I just want it to be a big, scary head with a smile,
Right.
a bloody ass, or who doesn't even just a smile. Like, it should have no face. It should just be something that feeds on this trauma, and the reason it makes you smile is because that's all it is trauma and that terrifying smile.
I did like the profile shot of it climbing. It basically, at the end when it killed her, it climbed into her mouth. It was a big wide profile shot, with the exception that the demon design could have been better. But imagine if it was a better designed demon.
But also her mouth looked like she looked bad. Like the shot was cool. You know what I mean? I liked the idea of the shot. I felt like the execution of whatever prosthetic or CG or whatever they used wasn't very well done. But that shot would have been super cool if they had a really good looking prosthetic or like I said, effect in that shot.
Look, Parker Finn, his first movie was the short for this, which I did watch. Is very interesting. And again, even in that short film, you saw a technique. Oh, the actress that killed herself in the beginning, she was the star of the short film. And I thought she did a really good job. I'm like, why ain't you just cast her? But for this to be his first movie,
hey, look. All this comes with the caveat that I couldn't make a movie.
No. It's not even.
You
It's
know
not.
what I
No,
mean?
it's not
Like-
even about that. Like, I'm just really impressed with and maybe because I'm coming at it from more than just I just want to watch a scary movie. Like, I wasn't going in like ready to scrutinize and observe technique, but because I was seeing it. It's like when I
Right.
saw It Follows. I know a lot of people that fucking hate that movie.
I still haven't seen it. I wanna see it.
My friend Mark said, it swallows. I'm like, okay, good one. it had a feel and a style of its own, and it took its time, right? And I think a lot of the criticisms people had with that was like, well, nothing fucking happened. But I thought a lot of things fucking happened. I thought that between the moments, it was packed with dread, right? And when there's dread, there's nothing happening, but there is a lot of things happening.
Right.
It's the anticipation, and it takes an expert filmmaker or someone who knows the craft and knows horror to able to make you feel uneasy without going to cheap jump scares. I mean, there were a few jump scares. I thought the music was really good. It wasn't just the typical music. It felt very Shining-esque, not in terms of sounding like The Shining, but The Shining used very weird sounds and like the birthday party thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it played with things in a way that he could have just phoned this in. Like another filmmaker, you would have gotten like a Ring clone and probably a 90-minute one at that, probably loaded with, you could have easily made this Malignant, right? And went over the top. And maybe if he had, then, you would have been like, oh, well, this is better, right? But from what he set out to do, it was confident from reel one to the end, except for the design of monster, which I completely agree with. Like, that could have been better. That was such a letdown. Because Smile, it's built into the fucking...
It was just like...
I wanted the mouth of Saruman.
Well, that was... Yeah, and that's the whole problem, was that it looked like it was basically just like her mom, but stretched out into a monster. You know what I mean? And then they did a quick segment where she pulls off her skin, and now the monster is just this like flesh, like this, skinless sort of muscle, gross monster thingy for a split second.
Well, it had like rows of teeth, but it wasn't like a smile. It looked...
It was weird. It was really a really weird decision, in my opinion, for a movie that was called Smile. They showed shots of like drawings of all these like smile monsters like earlier in the film, and then we get a monster that doesn't look like any of them and doesn't even have like that big of a smile like incorporated into its design. Just kind of odd, It was just an odd decision.
It almost feels like you got to work hard to fuck it up.
Yeah.
It takes more effort and maybe he was hopefully he didn't fall into the trap of, well, that's what's expected.
I don't want to do what it's
that's
exactly.
So I wanted to be, give the audience something that whatever, dude. Sometimes you got to give the audience what they want. I will say this is also a movie, and I saw The Ring in the theater too. And seeing it in the theater, even though I did have a feeling like, oh, this is kind of drawn out. But seeing a horror movie in a darkened theater with a bunch of people can elevate the experience, right? So I'm wondering if, because this originally was going to be stream only, and then
I was surprised that it was in the theater.
Well, it got such positive early reviews that Paramount's like, no, let's put this shit out. What a great move that was.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ, that paid off. There's something about a collective experience, and I think because he's able to fill the in-between moments of things actually happening with unease and anticipation of something about to happen.
Right.
I think that's what people are reacting to. It's got everyone on edge collectively. And then you hear one person gasp, then everyone like, you know what I mean? It's a communal fear experience. And it's not guaranteed to have that with every horror movie. A horror movie that sucks and just giving you, shock and awe. There's no time for the dread to set in. So I'm just trying to figure out why this movie has resonated so much. I know I'd like it, but I know this type of movie usually is not audience friendly. Because I think a lot of people have the reaction you had. It's like, what the fuck? Get to the point. Exploring. Like, come on, show me something. But apparently,
well, it's not even like just show me something. Like, I just felt like even the scenes I just felt like everything was just kind of slow in the beginning. It felt like once you got towards the end, it was a little bit, it was paced a little bit more to my liking. I don't know. Like, it just felt super slow. Just felt super slow at least that first 40 minutes, maybe the first hour, really.
And it's one of those movies where I can't say, no, you're wrong. Because everything you're saying, I acknowledge. Oh, I like one of the early scares is when the house alarm went off.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's talking to the alarm people on the phone, and it's really the demon. Demon's like, are you sure there's no one behind you?
Yeah.
And he does that thing where, I don't know if you remember the scene, she's going to, from over her shoulder, she's slowly going to turn, and then the jump scare is the phone ringing. Right. And she never turns. You never get to that moment. And I'm thinking, what a fucking badass this guy is. He's doing this. And it turns out it's the real person. And then you realize none of that shit actually happened. Or did it happen? Right? Like it's, and that's what I loved about the movie. He was able to play, because watching it with my kids, he was playing them like a violin. Like, is this real? Chloe, you think this is real? Yeah, I think this is real. Like, and as a guy who loves horror and a guy who would love to make horror, I'm like, that's what I want. I want motherfuckers. I want people to be like, wait, is this really happening? They're engaged. They're in the movie.
Right.
They're not just waiting for blood and gore. They're like, there.
I think it also helps that he did a good job of any time he did those, like, it was like with the telephone, it was pretty quick to get to that. It was pretty quick to get to the payoff of, oh, this isn't real, right? But you, like, once you start realizing it might not be real, you get to that payoff pretty quickly after that.
Yeah.
And then the time when she's talking to the therapist in her house, like, you don't even know that it's not real until she gets a second phone call. So he does it in a different way, right? Like, you don't even, like, it, like before in the first one, you knew, like, you had a feeling something was off before the second phone call happened. With this, you don't even realize anything's off until the phone call happens, you realize she's not there because she's calling you on the phone.
Right.
Like, I thought that was pretty good. Like, doing the same mechanic, but executing it two different ways. You know what I mean? I thought that was good.
He's setting it up. He's kind of setting you up, your expectations to, like, okay, when this happens, we're going to have a warning.
Right.
And then he strips the warning away.
And now you're like, well, now I never know if anything's fucking real or not. Which leads me to the fact that we never finished talking about the end.
Oh, go back to the
right. And so at the end, she has the fight with the demon. She's like, it was a very Freddy Krueger moment. This is my mind too, like, so sort of thing. And she, like, throws the fucking the lantern on the demon and burns it up and runs out. And then, like, she, like, goes back home or something, and then something goes to
the boyfriend, her ex's house apartment,
and he, like, says some creepy thing as the demon, right? And then she's like, "What?" And then she's back in the house again.
She never left. It was all in her mind.
That she never left. It was all in her head. And then the real fight with the monster happens. And then you get the end part where she lights herself on fire. And I thought that segment was actually pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, just like I said, that monster just seemed weird and just seemed out of left field.
Did you notice when she went home, like, it was still daytime, she tried the light switch?
Wait, what?
Yeah, she tried to turn on the lights in the old abandoned fucking cabin in the woods.
Yeah, it's like falling apart.
I told my kids, all right, you're purposely having a showdown in the creepiest fucking cabin in the woods possible. So you cannot be scared. You do not earn the right to be afraid now. You're putting yourself in this situation. And you come with no fucking lights. I guess it was spur of the moment. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, you're kind of setting yourself up to be spooked or killed or taken over.
The girl they got to play her sister, though, like, she played that fucking part, like, perfectly.
Yeah,
she was fucking annoying. What a bitch,
Yeah, waspy.
dude.
Well, not even waspy, but she was a bitch.
And then her husband was a fucking asshole too. Like, dude,
You felt he was an asshole though?
there was something at the dinner or the brunch or whatever it was. They go out to dinner, like, right? That's when you first meet the sister. And I remember her brother-in-law says something that I was like, well, that was kind of douchey, right? But it didn't really hit home until she shows up after the cat thing, and she's like, look, I need to talk to my sister. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then she comes up. She's like, what? She comes up and she's going to talk to her. And he, like, tries to stop her. Like, you shouldn't go talk to her. Yeah, you shouldn't go talk to your fucking sister. Like, give me a break. Like, who the fuck are you to tell your wife that she shouldn't go talk to a member of her family?
Well, look, I'll give you that, but it could be. Keep in mind, as husbands, behind closed doors, he's hearing all this shit and how and with delivering the dead cat and their son traumatized, and the wife, his wife and her already don't get along. He's probably catching a lot of like bullshit over this. So he's probably thinking, look, I'm the one who's got to pick up the pieces later. So maybe you shouldn't talk to her. I get what you're saying. I'm not defending him. I don't give a shit either way.
No, but. And I understand that, but I totally get that. But as a husband myself, like, you're gonna catch more shit for trying to keep your wife from talking to their family member than you know what I mean? Like, if all she's gonna do is bitch about her sister to you later on, do you want her to be mad at you for being fucking annoying and not letting her go out and talk to her? Like, come on.
It's best be Switzerland and not even get involved. So
yeah, just be like, whatever. I'll go handle the kid who's like pissing in his pants right now watching your crazy ass dead cat deliverer at the door.
All right, Mike, let's rate Smile, even though it put a frown on your face.
You know, that's funny. Talking with you, I did see a lot of, you're right, there were a lot of good things in it. There was a lot of good craft, and I felt bored. I don't know, I might be giving it the wrong rating because I was tired. No, I'm just saying, I was tired, so maybe I'm giving it the wrong rating, but I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Okay. Just 2.5? No funny, witty thingies you want to?
I'm going to steal it. 2.5 dead cats in a gift box.
I really enjoyed it, but like I said before, your criticisms I can't say aren't true and aren't unfounded. But it didn't bother me. Like, it is long. It did take its time. It can appear like nothing much happens. But the craft at work, at play, and the build-up, even though I was disappointed in the look of the monster, especially since we talked about it. But that said, for craft and confidence and just overall experience, I'll give it a 4.
Wow.
4 broken neck swinging heads out of 5.
Nice. Finally, I had to throw away my Help Us Bernie Sanders, Your Only Hope shirt.
That's a shame.
It had like a whole, like, big old hole forming in the chest and shit. Like,
I like that shirt.
Yeah, that shirt was dope.
Had to throw it away, meaning it was like the stitching was coming undone.
Yeah, it was just falling apart. Andrea was like, are you going to throw that away? I was like, no. And I resisted for long enough. And it got to the point where the hole was so big, I was just like,
it's not even a shirt anymore. It's a bib.
Yeah, it's like a big old hole in the chest, hole in the armpits. Like, it's just all fucking holy. I was like, fucking fine, I'll throw it out. Fuck. Oh, man.
Shirt heaven. There it goes.